future.
Hello, everybody. This is We Are the United, and this is our second episode. And today's topic is talking about, is the world ready for change? Change is something that a lot of people don't see coming or not prepared for or not ready for. And it's not a bad thing. It's just something that we have to get ourselves in a groove to and adapt to. And if you're not an adaptive person, I can see the frustration amongst it. And with these different communities coming out and shedding their lights and having their rights, and a lot of the things that they cherish being acknowledged, it shows the world opening up to a different way and opening up their minds and their spirits to see different things in the environment and now having a different idea of life. So even this podcast being one of the changes that it's going to be here, you know what I'm saying? Because this is a gateway for all the communities to lash out conversation and get our understanding amongst everybody. So with my straight community, I just ask that, you be patient, and I am definitely aware that, y'all have rights as well. With my gay community, I want y'all to understand that, we've been fighting for a long time, and we've accessed a lot of things, and doesn't mean that the fight is over with. There's still other things that have to be done. Same with the lesbian community. I know it's a big thing right now because it's woman power as well as just being a lesbian. So you have two different fights that you're fighting and stuff. And with the trans community, we have the understanding that, you're here now and you're not going anywhere, and y'all are fighting for more of a privacy with your lives and stuff like that. So I understand the different changes. And our queer community, you're just being acknowledged as what it is and understanding that you're here and you're here to stay. It's a big change right now because, it's a big thing that people really wasn't expecting to have after already, accepting the communities. Now we have the understanding that it's people who don't identify with these things that we accepted. So this is a whole new change of just the LGBT to be bigger now, to a whole bigger thing. So bisexual, it's a change now because now it's been more of aware that we are here and we're there. Where people try to make us, closeted and try to say that, we wasn't what we was and we're just confused, but now we're standing up for ourselves and we're showing people, and our rights will be coming one day, sometime soon. So, we have something to fight for too, because at the end of the day, we don't have the full rights as most of the communities, and people don't really realize that. You know what I'm saying? The plus size community, y'all have a fight as well, because at the end of the day, a lot of people are still trying to remove you and tell you that you're not fit or you're not here or this is not right. But y'all have opened doors to a lot of things now. Y'all have a whole change of things. Y'all have your whole clothing line. Y'all have your own community that accepts you, and curvilicious women is a thing now, and it's becoming more popular in the ages. So I just want everybody to, stay tuned, and I hope y'all appreciate this episode. I have wonderful people here to really talk about the deep situations of change and stuff, and I hope everybody can take a warm welcome to what they're saying and not more of an offense to it, because it's something that just is an acknowledgement of what's going on and how things is supposed to be at this moment, and how change is coming and how change is reacting and how it's affecting people and how it's making things better. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of We Are the United. And I have with me a special guest to speak on the straight community's behalf. Is the world ready for change? Is our topic for today. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Gladney,
All right.
representing the straight community.
Woo, woo, woo. Okay, already. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and get straight into it. The first question is: have you seen a change in your community?
Absolutely. Of course, so many new things changing, laws being passed, people being able to represent themselves in different ways has definitely caused a huge change in the community, good and bad.
Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. So, what is some of the pros of the changes?
Pros, I would say people being able to freely express themselves without having the limitation of the laws and stuff like gay marriage and things like that. So being able to freely be able to express yourself and not having those limitations, I definitely would think would be some pros and feeling a little more accepted by others.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah, definitely would be a pro for people to be able to be accepted and being married and stuff. Even though I know a lot of people say that that's just like something that they say, but technically they can't really get married in certain places that won't allow them and things of that nature. So, I mean, I'll talk more with that with them, I guess. So, we can move on to what are the cons with the change? Like, what are things that like is not working?
Cons, I feel, would be it feel like it's forced upon society.
Yeah.
So feeling like, the acceptance part of it being like if they're not included in everything that they're being discriminated against in some form. So that forceful nature of it having to be on everything, involved in everything, our kids being exposed to it more and not being able to really develop and make their own mind, I feel like are the cons in my opinion.
I agree. I think that's really one of the biggest cons is the fact that they're trying to allow children to have the mindsets to be this thing that instead of just saying y'all are fucking kids, you know what I'm saying? Y'all need to be kids. Like just be children and that's it. And that's all you need to worry about. Don't worry about no sex stuff because you can't even have sex. So
Right.
that's just my biggest. That's one of my biggest things too. Okay, so moving on to the next question: has it affected anything like personal to you or in anything that you deal with?
Well, as a teacher and a mom of a boy and two girls, I feel like I see it really more in the kids and trying to parent as well and raise my kids the best of my ability. So being able to seeing that it's forced like kind of on a cartoon and seeing the cartoon having two dads and kids having, asking like, well, why they got two dads and trying to explain it
Mm-hmm.
in the best way possible, or having kids in the classroom, come and say they want to change their name or they're lesbians, or now this bathroom they're trying to have where, oh, if the kids feel like they identify as, a girl, then the boys still use the girls' bathroom. Or having little girls, I feel like no, because then that can open doorways for kids that don't really know where they are sexually to then take advantage of, oh, they just want to be in the girls' bathroom. So they'll do things like that,
Yeah.
So I think the biggest impact personally is more so with my personal children and in my line of work and trying to navigate on not trying to tell somebody what they are or what's right and what's wrong, but also trying to make it make sense
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. 'Cause I mean, I can see that being hard. You're a teacher, and the kid's like, "Well, no, I'm a girl," and then my mom, and then the other kid's like, "Well, my mom said that you're a boy, so I don't know what you're talking about." And you just have to deal with all of that in a different
Yeah,
way.
like I had a student come in and we were just having a conversation. I was like, give him his stuff, and I was like, oh my god, it's a girl. and I felt horrible,
Oh my
but he had a short cut and, big shirt and, like really dressed like a boy. So then
yeah.
I was confused. Like, well, do you want to be identified as a girl or as a boy?
Hmm.
Like, and at 9, 10 years old. So it's like,
Yeah, that's a bigger thing with kids. Like, do they supposed to walk around with tags on saying I identify as this? Because now y'all want kids to be a part of this, and you want kids to have a
right,
decision. I mean, honestly, me being bisexual, which I'm asexual now, though. I'm asexual now, but me being that and stuff like that, I can imagine hearing a kid tell some, oh, I'm asexual. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know what that is. You don't understand. And honestly, that's probably the best thing that I would rather a child be is asexual before any other thing. If you're going to just be something. So there's really nothing wrong with it. But I just like at this time, like y'all pushing this stuff on these kids. It's gonna be like when they get older, it's like they're not gonna be able to have that experience like everybody else got to have when they grew up and got to be kids and just been a kid. I mean, at the end of the day, you tell a child you're a boy. You know what I'm saying? If you were born with a penis, and you're a girl if you're born with a vagina, and point blank period, and leave it at that. And you explain the basics first and you give them the knowledge of what they basically is. So when they come out and become something else, they can have the acknowledgement and that journey of what it is they're actually doing. Now you're just giving people these choices. Like now they don't even really understand what they're even trying to be or what the meaning of all of that is, because now you're just saying, oh, and you could be any one of them that you want to be. So I'm just going to be a lesbian because I just think that's cool now. It's what the kids is really thinking. Not I want to be a lesbian
right,
because I like women.
right. And I feel like that falls, back on the adults because as the adults and, that have made the decision to be who they are and love who they want to love, when you're pushing for equality or being on different platforms and things like that, should also be able to stand up and say, hey, no, but this may not be appropriate for this kid show that's PG or PG 13,
Yeah,
and having certain limitations on things and not feeling offended
yeah.
that not wanting to have that, in this cartoon.
That's crazy. And you know what? I haven't seen the cartoons, but I've heard a lot about these different cartoons. And I'm just
The
like,
Loud House is definitely one.
the which one?
The Loud House
The Loud House. Oh
is
my
definitely
gosh.
one.
It makes you really not want to have kids in this type of universe that we have now. It's like, what am I going to have to argue with in the next 5 years? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are my arguments going to be with
Honestly,
these children if they don't even understand the basics of who they are now? Now they're going to be like, oh, I want to be a dog because I'm allowed to be a dog.
right.
Like, I don't know. It's
Where I was at McDonald's and I have a 5-year-old and was getting the food and the man, went to take my order, take my payment. And when he reached his hand out the window to get the card and I went to hand it to him, he had nails on, bright green, long nails. And so my daughter in the back and she's like, Mommy, what is this? Is that a girl or a boy? And I was
like, just don't say
but I
nothing.
didn't know also, like, because don't want to offend somebody, but also didn't know how to then explain it
Yeah.
to her. Like, it's a boy, but he likes to, do his nails because, as a straight person, I also, with a teenage boy and girls, like, no, that's for girls,
Hmm.
no, you're not going to put that on your brother. That nail polish is for girls. So then to see it, and then it's like, wait a minute. So
You
what's
said
going
this
on
is
right
for
here?
girls, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't.
Oh my. Okay. So we're gonna go to the last question, which is, how is your community acting towards the change? So how is the straight community, in your eyes, acting towards this change?
The straight community acting towards the change.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess it would kind of be like a 50-50, right?
Yeah.
You have some that don't care. It is what it is. Do what you do. don't really affect them much, and then you have others that are very resistant to it. Um, and again, I think that comes where the exposure and the pressure of it, because it's like the whole you are supposed to be accepted, but then how the straight community feels is wrong, but how you feel is right. You
Right.
know, so if we feel like, hey, no, you know, let's say a drag queen, you know, somebody that dresses in drag, you know, a male dressing up as female shouldn't be a teacher in the school, you know, or exposing the kids to this. Well, you feel like the straight person's opinion on what's being exposed is wrong, but you feel like your opinion is right. So the straight person is sitting here being attacked based on how they feel, but you feel your opinion should be respected.
Yeah.
So I think that part of it, not having the respect both ways. Like I respect how you feel, but you're this, and vice versa. I think is what causes a lot of pushback and the resistance of the change in the straight community.
Yeah, I get that because at the end of the day, it's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Y'all preaching about, all lives matter, and I'm part of this community. You need to accept me, but then like I said in my first podcast, that people need to realize that they have to respect y'all too. You know what I'm saying? It's a give and take. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I do feel like when it comes to the children, it's just a line draw, and it's really going to really get people who are straight to more, because they already have to deal with the adults. Now you have to deal with children who and trying to protect your children from being more of a realization of who they are, because of the whole world trying to say, oh, you can do this and you can do that, you can do that, which is possible. But they also need to let these kids know that you can do that shit when you go make your own money, get your own town, get your own house, get your own goddamn life going on. Then you can decide what type of life you live. But until then, just be a kid and just enjoy yourself and stuff like that. So, are there any last things you want to say to the world about the change, and any type of hopes you want to give to the people?
I've seen where they were talking about changing the name from woman to what was it that I seen, to something more inclusive. It was a more inclusive name, and it's slipping my tongue right now. I have to look it up again. But they were trying to change the name of a woman to include, you know, the people that are the men
Trans.
that are with that. No more so doing the whole like transition
Yeah,
stuff.
the trans. Yeah.
Then you know that pushback. Like, why if I am a woman, would I not be able to identify as a woman?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you know, men are making that transition too. No, they, you know, have your own name. But
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. I feel like this
okay,
should be its own name. Yeah.
I have a vagina to be able to call it a vagina.
Right. I
And
can
then
birth
okay,
babies. You know what I'm
so,
saying?
so my hope would be that, you know, people making decisions that they're making for them and to better them, you know, having solutions that don't necessarily affect other people that did not choose to make that decision,
Yeah.
and being able, everybody respecting everybody.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Thank you so much for coming on to my show. I appreciate all your thoughts and stuff. Do you want to tell everybody how they can find you?
You can follow me on Instagram at oso.jazz, oso.jas.
Okay. All right. So, to find her, what I'm saying? If any people who are supportive and want to talk to her, please, people, do not go on her stuff trying to go all crazy, because, I mean, it's her opinion, and this is the things that she's seeing as a change. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense. And I really do see that a lot in the conversations that I have, and it's about the children. You know what I'm saying? That's a really big thing, you know what I'm saying? And then the fact that y'all trying to take this woman womanhood away from her when the women have had this whole history of trying to fight for their rights, and you can't take away something that's already there. Like, let's not try to change something that's there already. Let's just adapt to it and try to get people to understand a different way. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying not woman, you know what I'm saying? You can just say, hey, I'm a T woman, you know what I'm saying? Or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Something that's more identified to who you actually are, and don't try to take away anybody else's identity. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Oh my God, this was wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 again. That we're talking about, is the world ready for change? And I have with me a friend of mine who's going to explain it in the way of the lesbian community. She's speaking for them, so you can introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Desiree.
All right. So basically, we're going to just jump right into it. I'm going to ask you these questions. The first question is, have you seen a change in your community?
I have, since the world is getting more in tune with the gay community, there has been a change where people are basically not afraid of being themselves, whatever that is anymore. People are being more bold and living in their truth more. So yes, I have seen a significant change.
Okay. Yes. I mean, it definitely is a world now where people is just growing to be who they are, and then they're opening up the doors for everybody. So yeah, I get what you're saying. So what are some pros to this change that's came?
The pros to this is just making a way for, us lesbians in corporate America, because I do work in corporate America, and it's a pro to it. We're being more welcomed. We're actually being celebrated. We actually have a place in corporate America now, as far as being able to work in bigger communities and a more professional environment, not just having to work like, at a bar or, regular jobs where it's more like welcoming, where it's equality and they welcome us, and there's actually laws and rules and policies put in place for us to be able to be our unique self in the
Okay.
world.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good, definitely. Because I mean, I didn't know that it was an issue with it. You know what I'm saying? So you bringing it out basically is definitely shedding light on that. And everybody needs a job. Everybody needs to work. Everybody likes money, and who don't want to make more money? So yes, give me my corporate jobs. Y'all better give these people their goddamn jobs. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So what are some cons that you have with the change that's going on?
Um, the cons, a lot of people are still not open minded for lesbians as far as masculine presenting women. And just the gay community as a whole, a lot of people are still very old school about it. They're kind of like, oh, I don't want to work with that person, or I don't want to, be around that person. A lot of people just still don't understand and aren't educated enough to know that we as people are still people, and we are a community, and we need to be accepted and respected as such.
Exactly. I mean, just because you don't know don't mean that you can treat me any type of way or you can be a certain type of way towards me. You need to find out what you don't need to know instead of being ignorant all your life, and you can actually figure out something. And then we're making up multiple avenues for people to realize what's going on and how things is going on. Especially with the lesbian community, y'all have a lot of breachways where you can understand more about what's going on with your community. So it should really be no issue for people to act like they don't know what's going on, you know.
Exactly. It's been going on for a long time, so for people to still act ignorant to the fact that the gay community is here to stay and expand and continue to take over whatever is there to be taken over, we're gonna do it.
Yeah, because I mean, it's still some stuff that people ain't put their foot on yet. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, hopefully opens up the doors for a lot of people to realize it and open up those doors without us having to even bush in and bush through it and try to take it, and then just go ahead and give it to us because we're people and we are just like everybody else, and we deserve the same type of issues that we deal with everybody else.
Exactly.
Okay, so has any of this affected you in any type of way or anything around you?
Yes, it has. Going back to my point, I work in corporate America. Being a lesbian in corporate America, I am feminine presenting. So working with a lot of males has affected my working environment because I'm looked at as when you're a lesbian and you're feminine presenting and you work around a lot of men that obviously find you attractive, whatever, however, and you don't give them the time of day and you kind of try to avoid telling them your business because a lot of men are sick in the head and they just, oh, you like girls, that causes a lot of um, like issues at work where now they find now you're an aggressive person or now you're rude or whatever, and it's only because you're not accepting their pedophile comments towards just weird conversations about things we shouldn't be talking about at work.
Yeah.
In a professional environment, you're asking me about sex, about me and a woman, or what you think about the lesbian community, or what you think, you ain't met the right man, and so it causes a lot of frustration and hostility, and a big old gap between situations in the professional environment when you're a lesbian, feminine presenting woman at work. And I've gone through this probably every job I've ever had because men don't know when to just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that's just and that's just put a nail on it.
When it comes to the lesbian community, you know what I'm saying? They find any other part of the gay community disgusting, but when it comes to lesbians, it's so interesting to them. But there's a line of where to stop. There's a line you shouldn't cross it, the boundary. At the end of the day, so it causes a lot of issues when you got to put your foot down and be like, hey, look, I don't want to have that conversation, or hey, look, it's making me uncomfortable, or hey, look, why are you worried about if I eat coochie or not? What does that do for you?
Yeah, how is that helping you? Because it's not like my tongue is your tongue, and you ain't gonna feel the coochie I eat. Goddamn
Exactly. It just
it.
makes everything uncomfortable. Like you kind of run away from them at work. Like, oh, let's not go over there and talk to them because they're still gonna make some type of sexual remarks or do like, oh, you had a man. It's just it's just very uncomfortable and irritating to be
Yeah.
honest.
I mean, which it should be though, because I mean, at the end of the day, I like you said, y'all. But honestly, y'all are the most loved out of all the communities around all the communities. Like, I'm pretty sure y'all get along with majority of the communities. I mean, who doesn't love a lesbian? I mean, who doesn't have one
Right.
that they kicking with, drinking up? You know what I'm saying? Y'all the party. You know what I'm saying? Y'all the life. And then, like I was telling somebody, the lesbians show a strength about them. You know what I'm saying? With their relationships and
Right.
how they carry themselves. Because I mean, regardless of what they're going through, they still show their strengths in the love that they have for each other. I mean, it's a big woman power issue that they have, you know what I'm saying? And with women coming to power now, I mean, of course, lesbians are going to thrive, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a big thing for them.
Of course.
So, for the last question, how is your community acting towards change?
Um, I would say from what I see, um, just open minded, always open, willing to accept change, going with the flow, respecting anybody and everybody's boundaries, whether it's the straight people, whether, it's whatever part of the gay community. I see that everyone is always accepting and respecting people's boundaries and, what they would prefer to be called, prefer to be associated with. I think they're pretty accepting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't know a lot of the changes that's been going on. I know I have spoken with the straight community speaker, and she was basically bringing up the changes with something about they're changing the woman to be something more generalized for everybody who considers herself as a female, which
Uh-huh.
and I was like, I mean, that's different. I don't know why. I mean, honestly, I get it though. Everybody's trying to be included, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, dang, now you're trying to take away from somebody, you know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing that
Right.
we've been fighting for, you know what I'm saying? People not to take away
Uh-huh.
our rights, but I mean, it went to the point of to get to the where you're taking away the straight people rights too, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
and that was something that she had brought to my attention to even speak about. So I think that's really like the big topic of this episode now is that change of Like, and then the children situation of how they're changing to let children decide. Like, how does a child know when they're going to be lesbian? Like, were you, when you were a kid, you didn't probably think, oh, I'm a lesbian. You probably was like, I'm trying to figure out what this is instead of saying, hey, yeah, I'm just, this is what it is. I'm a kid. I'm not even having sex.
I mean, I could say that for speaking for myself, I can't say that nobody was born just gay, came out the womb just, oh, I only like women. But from my perspective, I can say that I always knew that a male always made me uncomfortable, as in the sense of like holding their hand, like even when I was a little girl, like holding their hand or hugging them was always just, that's not what I wanted to do. It was weird, but when I did it with a girl, it was just regular. So that's how I knew that I was, when I finally realized and knew what I was, what gay was or what lesbian was. Because when we were younger, we didn't say lesbian. We just knew we were gay.
Yeah.
Now
Right.
it's, everybody has a label now. We're lesbians, transgenders, we're, all kinds of things. Now that the community has grown so much, now I can see why the kids or the children feel like so strongly about something. But do I agree with a child wanting to have a whole surgery to change their self? I don't agree fully with that, because you still need to grow. The mind still needs to develop. You still kind of have to experience. You're too young to have experienced the intimacy or the passion between you and a woman, you and a man, you and a transgender, whatever, however.
Yeah.
That's a very touchy subject. It is.
It is. And then another thing is, if they did do this this transformation as a child, I mean, you're not even fully developed yet. So how is that going to even be processed or worked in? Because it's not like you're going to grow with your change. The change is going to be its change, and it's going to be there. So it's going to look like whatever it looks like when they make it. So that's
Right.
like, it's crazy. Like, why would you even accept for any child to be on that? And speaking of the transgender, because I know this is a big change for the lesbians, is that y'all have a lot of people transitioning in y'all community too. So how do you feel about that?
I feel like, be who you want to be yourself, and be your genuine self. And it doesn't matter if you want to be a transgender woman, a transgender man. To me, I'm all about, being yourself. If that's what makes you feel comfortable, then do it by all means necessary. You have enough experience, you've lived long enough to know, you've learned, you've done your research, you've educated yourself enough. You have people around you to educate you, to support you, then I'm all for it.
All
I
right.
actually was married to a woman who was transitioning, and it was a big change for her, something that she could not handle. So I agree when people say people should take more of time to really evaluate the situation before they just jump into something. Because sadly, when you transition from a woman to a male, or a male to a woman, the hormonal change causes a lot of mental issues if you don't have a good support system. You don't have a good support system that's going to support you, motivate you through your change, through your process, through your transformation, then it could not end well like it did for my ex-wife. So, I'm all for people being who they want to be, but I would much rather them do the research and take the therapy that's necessary, because it will be necessary. You're going through especially when a woman changes to a male, us women already have a lot of emotion. We're already emotionally unbalanced enough. We're very emotional beings. So going from female to male is a drastic change, and I think people should educate themselves a little bit more and take their time a little bit more with that, in my opinion.
Okay. So do you have anything you want to leave for your fellow lesbians, and anything you want to say to them?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Do you want to leave anything where, like, so anybody can reach you at?
My TikTok is _good. That's GOODGUUD, and that's my social media name on every platform: Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. That's my name.
Okay. All right. Good. Get it.
You know. Always doing good over here.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. That is what's up. So, I thank you for coming out and taking the time out to speak for this. A lot of stuff that you said is definitely going to hit somebody. I'm pretty sure people are going to hit you up and elaborate on a lot of stuff you said. You definitely are going to have a good following because you did a very good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm just gonna leave this for all the lesbians, you know what I'm saying? We're all here, we're all supporting you, even the transitions. I want y'all to understand that this is all for you. This is for us to understand that the world is changing and this is something that we have to be ready for and get our lives together and surrounded with the proper people that we need for this change.
Of course.
All right. Well, you have a good one, all right?
All right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 2 of We Are the United. We're discussing is the world ready for change, and I have somebody here with me to give the bisexual perspective of the situation, and also to help me out with it. And you can introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Erica.
So we're just gonna jump right into it because Erica has children, and we don't need to have them waking up. So. Okay, we going to say, have you seen a change in your community?
I have seen a change in the community. I feel like a lot of the change is still waiting to present itself because some people are still kind of behind closed doors. But in the last few years since I've been here, I've definitely seen a change.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like it's being kind of open for bisexual now. Like back in the days, it really wasn't. Like people really didn't have that avenue, and people didn't even believe bisexual really was a thing. So now it's kind of like changing for us to be like, okay, yeah, we're here. We finally have a stance now. But what are we actually going to do with this? You know what I'm saying? So moving on to the next question, what are some pros of this change?
I think some pros will be like allowing people to live in their freedom. Like a lot of times people are afraid to open up because they're afraid of judgment or being like shunned from, I guess, family or friends. I did have a friend once. We were really good friends, and uh, she came out to me about her sexuality, and it just made me feel some type of way because she was afraid to tell me. So she was like, "I didn't want you to look at me any differently," and I'm like, "No, you're my friend. Like, I still love you. Like,
Right.
I still I don't care about who you're with. You're my friend at the end of the day. What you do is your business.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me realize that sometimes people they're hiding these things, and it's a battle that they have to fight with internally. So I feel that now that we're actually able to be open about who we love or how we love, it just gives people like that comfort knowing that it's other people they can relate to, that they don't have to worry about feeling like they have to hold it to themselves or fight and hide their true identity from people. Like, I feel like it's allowing them to, just be more free and accepted.
Yeah.
And um, I like the way things are moving.
Yeah. I do too. I mean,
I notice like
it's
more guys are talking about it, being open about the whole thing
yeah. I mean,
as
honestly
opposed to
though,
before.
honestly, I feel like it's more acceptive to the females right now. So the females is really
Mm-hmm.
getting they run for the bisexual, but I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
men. It's like I feel like they definitely they have that platform now. So I mean, that's the good thing. That's the
Mm-hmm.
pro about it that we have that platform. But I'm gonna jump into the
Mm-hmm.
next question. So, what are some cons about this change?
I would say the cons are like some people are still definitely very much against it. And then like sometimes people they just speak out of ignorance. They don't take the time to just ask questions to get a better understanding of it. They just assume things, and then I think that just kind of gives a lot of people that idea that oh, is nothing good could come out of it. So they just automatically assume that yeah, they're just you know
they're miserable. They're trying to make it seem like they're happy because I've seen things where people are try to they'll try to narrate someone else's life just by like a 15 or it could be a 10-minute clip where a family just invite people in to kind of see their lifestyle. And then you can already see that people are already trying to say, oh, this person looks unhappy. You can see it all over their face. But we don't really know. And I feel like people just so quickly jump on the bandwagon sometimes,
Right.
and it could be just a train of hate, like just of pure ignorance because they're not willing to educate themselves. They just automatically assume, that, oh yeah, like with guys, like I noticed that more guys have been coming out about how they like pegging, and like I haven't heard of really any black guys who have like a certain status come out and be open about it. Like the guy, I guess his name is Tor or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He was on Angela Yee's show and he was talking about how he enjoyed pegging and stuff.
And what is
Like I feel
pagan?
like I can see more. Huh?
What is pagan?
What happened?
What is pagan?
Pegging is when they have like a female to like put a strap on and what I'm saying, go in their back
Oh,
door.
oh,
So
wow.
yeah. So
See? Oh, wow.
so
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
it's kind of like people they don't educate themselves. They don't find out more. Like I heard that the male's G spot is up in there, so it's like they look at it as oh yeah you're gay. Like they don't take the time and think like okay this guy he likes this because his G spot is there, so he's gonna find pleasure. And because people look at it a certain way, they just automatically assume oh yeah he. You know what I'm saying? He definitely the one getting bent over or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's like if
Mm,
it's with a woman, how
yeah.
technically how can it be? You know what I'm saying? Just straight gay. It's just they found ways to pleasure themselves and they found a woman who's into the same thing they are. So I just feel like a lot of times people are just ignorant and they spread the ignorance instead
Yeah.
of finding out more about it. And I think that's the con that comes with it is just
Yeah.
ignorance.
And I really think a big con is the fact that, like you said, people don't know. And when it comes to being bisexual, it's very explicit and exclusive to the point where it's like if you don't
Mm-hmm.
know, you don't really know what's going on. If you don't really feel that way, then you don't kind
Mm-hmm.
of get it. You know what I'm saying? You won't get it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just like any other community and any other sexuality. If you're not feeling that way, you're not going to understand it. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
big thing with
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people, and I feel like another big con about being bisexual is because of how people feel that way. It's harder for people to really open up
Mm-hmm.
for that. So, like you said, for that dude to open up about pegging, that was wonderful because technically that is more of a bisexual act
Mm-hmm.
because he's doing it in a straight demeanor, but he's doing something that
Mm-hmm.
is offset, and bisexual really is a
Mm-hmm.
leeway for that offset straight. Because the whole thing is offset
Mm-hmm.
straights are really a thing, and it really is in the straight community. But usually those people are bisexual that are
Mm-hmm.
doing those straight acts. They just keep themselves in the straight community. So you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving on to the next question. How has any of this stuff affected you in any type of way or anything around you?
Honestly, I can't say that it's affecting me to the point where I just feel like I wanted to stray away from the lifestyle.
Hmm.
Like it's not something I'm just really actively into, but what I'm saying when it's time to it, I get down with the get down. But as far as like any type of like um ignorance or whatever, like I haven't gotten it. Like I was open to my kids about certain things, like
Hmm.
because I didn't want them finding out information from other people. Like I love to talk to my kids about adult things, but give it to them to where they can receive it and they know like, okay, I understand what she's saying, but at the same time, I'm not graphic with it because I don't want my kids to be just ignorant and then have other people thinking for them.
Hmm.
But I was able to educate my mother a little bit because she wasn't raised to do stuff like this. Like she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just I'm old school, so she would ask certain questions. So it kind of gave me like the freedom to like explore different things, and I was able to educate my mother and then my kids as well. Like I didn't really go into depth about the situation, but I kind of let them know like, hey, it's a new day and age. Things happen differently now, but at the end of the day, like we're all human. We have feelings. and you love who you love, you
Yeah.
know. And if my child, any of my children, if they felt like they wanted to be with someone of the same sex, or if they wanted to be bisexual, whatever, that's their prerogative. Like, who am I to stop them? Because I know how I feel about certain people, and those feelings don't just go away easily. And I won't want to deny them of that. I don't want them questioning their true being when, you know, I don't give them the tools to figure it out for themselves. Like, I feel like this is just, it's been an eye opener for me, because honestly, it was something I didn't think I'd ever do. Like, I used to be like, oh no, I only want guys. I'm strictly dickly, this and that. But once I was able to open up my eyes and kind of see it from a different perspective, it gave me a chance to learn as well. Um, and it's just been something that I enjoy, like from the aspect of having two people that I can go to and I can get both their input instead of just trying to tackle on a lot of things for myself. Like, I can get it from a male's perspective and a female's
Mm-hmm.
other than my own. So it's a great opportunity, you know, because I think a lot of good things can come from it if you're on the same accord. Like, you know, it
Yeah.
can give you a foundation. Like, I mean, you get the best of both worlds. So like, like, I mean, I feel that it really doesn't get much better than having like someone on your team from both sides,
Yeah.
because it's like you can pretty much tackle anything and everything, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard sometimes going through life with one person that you can kind of relate to, but y'all still bump heads. It's
Yeah.
almost like you have a mediator. Like, even if you feel that you're not a good fit for this person or this couple, you can be there to help them keep their relationship together. Or you can help them like gain insight on what it is they truly want. Like, sometimes I can say, well, this right here was an eye opener for me, because
Mm-hmm.
I realized how much I neglected you, or I didn't see things from your point of view until this person brought it to my attention.
Right.
Or like, you realize that, hey, this is not for me. Like, I truly love this person, and the thought of me sharing my person with somebody else just, it drove me crazy. So, you know, I feel like it's a great learning experience, all the way around.
Yeah. So the last
I don't
question
know if
that I
I'm
have
really
for
talking.
you, is how is your community acting towards the change? So how do you think the bisexual people are acting towards this change?
Mm, well, like I said, I noticed that guys are coming out more about certain things that they desire or that they enjoy, and they've always been written off, I guess, as, oh, that's gay. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's giving guys more of a opportunity to speak on certain experiences and be more comfortable and stand in their masculinity, and, you know, just still kind of remain like a respected individual. Like, I don't know that guy, Forrest Reputation. I don't know. I think he was part of Black Ink Crew or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that people probably respect him a little more, like, because it takes a lot of courage to get on
Yeah.
a platform and express certain things that you like behind closed doors that a lot of people deem as, oh, he's this, he's that, and try to make it seem like, yeah, I always knew something was off about this guy. You know, they make it seem um like that's the worst thing that a person could do is be gay sometimes. But
Yeah.
I feel like now it's becoming more accepted, and people are more open to talk about it, and people
Mm-hmm.
are educating themselves too. And I also see how people are in the comments are like, no, it's this, it's that. I find myself learning stuff like almost every day just by looking at some of the stuff in the comments, or just doing my own due diligence and, you know, finding out more for myself instead of just, oh yeah, this person's got to be this way because, hey,
Mm-hmm.
everybody else is saying it.
Right.
Like, I feel like it's more acceptable for guys to express how they feel,
Yeah.
and, you know what I'm saying, we can openly discuss it like mature adults. So I kind of like where it's going as far as bringing it out to the open.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because I mean, people don't realize the different aspects of being bisexual and how being bisexual is. You know, I still feel like we haven't like fought for any of our rights. You know, as bisexuals, I mean, we have not made any type of rights to get married to a guy and a female at the same time, where we have a tri-marriage. We have not, you know, did anything far, because I mean, people think just one thing about okay, it's a guy, two girls, or a girl and two guys. But you have to think about it. It can also be a female who's looking for two men. And it can also be a guy that's looking for two women that want those two women to do something with each other, and the girl wants the two men to do something with each other. So it's not always really just in that straight narrow aspect of what it is. You know what I'm saying? And for us to really have this platform is really a big change for us, for real. Out of a lot of people don't realize that, like, this right here, this platform that we have to speak on the bisexuals, because we are left in the back. We're left in the dark. So the fact that we are able to come to the light, because we're hidden in the straight community, the gay community, the lesbian community, hell, the trans community, and the queer community, the plus size community. We're hidden in all of those, because all these people, some of these people have that aspirations of still being who they are, but they like both both sexes, you know what I'm saying? But they hide it because they're trying to keep themselves masked in the things that make them comfortable. And a lot of people are not comfortable with bisexual people. So I'm just glad that comfortability is coming out, or people are able to do what they need to do and live their life. But we're coming short on time. I want you to definitely let people know where they can find you, and if you want to leave like a last minute words for everybody.
Okay, so yeah, I'm on Facebook, Yasha Robinson. I am on IG with Shay_E. On TikTok. Let me see what my name is. I think it's Eva Shay on TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Eva Shay on TikTok. Also, your favorite Saturday. So yeah.
Yes,
Thanks
well,
for
I
your time,
definitely
and
thank
I
you
appreciate it.
so much for being on here. You can give some last minute words to anybody. Say anything. What would you say?
I would just encourage anybody who's like wanting to know more, do your due diligence, do your own research. Don't let anybody get into your mind and try to tell you what lifestyle is for you or what's not for you. Like, you know what you feel in your heart. You know how you feel when you're around certain people. Like, always stick with your gut feeling. Like, if something's telling you it's off, then trust your intuition. Like, but also just stay true to yourself. Don't let anybody try to tell you how to live your life, because at the end of the day, you only get one life. You gotta live it to the fullest, because you don't want to live life with regret. Whoever you love that person while they're here. You never know when God's gonna take them away from you. So just living your truth and hey, live life like every day is your last.
Yes, exactly. And change is hard, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard for us to actually deal
Mm-hmm.
with anything that's going on. And in this bisexual community, you have people that bagging you up. You have people who have your back, you know what I'm saying? As you see, we're here. We're standing here, and we're gonna be what it is that we are. I mean, I'm a different version and she's a different version. We all have different versions of who we are, and we're still gonna accept all of you guys, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna come forward, and you're going to have your own community to have your back, just like every other community has theirs, or supposed to have theirs. But this one's going to be a little bit different, because we're going to love each other. We're going to accept everything that we have. And I mean, we just have to let it be known that we're not out here just having sex with everybody. We just love who the hell we love.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm married to you, want Hey, look, everybody can't get this, okay? Because
You
I
better
don't need
know it.
nobody stalking.
Okay, you better know it.
I
You
ain't
better
got
know
time,
it.
bro. You know, I got five of these guys. I don't need no more.
Like, okay,
A whole
okay.
football team.
Okay, shoot. Like, yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like me as an asexual, hopefully I get to a point where I can find a man and a woman that both are equally in love with each other, that I can love as well and equally love me. You know, that's been a dream. But I mean, honestly, it's a long time coming. We're gonna get there eventually one day. But like I said, thank you so much for being here.
Of
Thank
course.
you so
Thank you for
much.
considering me.
Oh, you're
Your
welcome.
pleasure.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? This is Timothy Knox again, once again here with We the United. I have a friend of mine with me, and they're here to represent the gay community on episodes 2, Is the world ready for change? You can introduce yourself.
My name is Deontay Real Johnson.
All right, all right. So we're just gonna jump straight into it. Question number one: have you seen a change in the community?
When you say change, what do you mean?
Like any type of change in the community that we're around, like anything that's different from the time frame of us growing up and knowing about this community to it being there now.
You talking about the gay community?
Yeah, the gay community.
Okay. Um, to be honest, um, if you want to label it that, I guess you can. But as far as in the community, I just feel that is a big show. And what I mean by that, I don't feel that. I mean, a community supports each other, take care of each other, look out for themselves, and not to say that we don't. Certain aspects we do. Um, the community is very judgmental, as we all know.
Hmm.
If you don't look a certain way, if you don't act a certain way, if you don't, yeah, if you don't have the body type, if you the mannerisms and all of that. And the community, like I said, is normally supposed to stick together to uplift each other, um, to make people feel good about themselves. And this community, um, the gay community, tears people down from time to time.
Yeah. So it's basically like back in the days, it was more supportive, and with the communities now that everybody really got their rights, which I can see that they really got their rights now. So it's like more so, what else we're fighting for? Like they have nothing else to fight for, so now they're like basically just living out and being whatever it is that they're being.
Well, um, when I was young, not to say I'm too old, but um, when I was younger, it was hard. It wasn't. I would say this. It wasn't that many that you knew of that was openly and comfortable with themselves.
Hmm.
And as far as in now, it's more. You can see it more now with certain things being accepted, and the community is. I'm just going to be honest. Is to me, it's based off sex. It's based off sex. What you look like, fantasies, fetishes, is that's what it's based upon. But the gay community itself, you know, that's why we have that's why we have pride. Pride is not just. I mean, it's a big party, whatever it is that you want to call it, or however you see it, celebrating it your way, whatever way. But pride was a big thing where you're proud of who you are, and you feel like you didn't have to live in a secret life, which you still do that now, and it's a lot more of them now than they did back then. And how it has changed, it's a little confusing now than it is back then. The community, to be honest, I I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings about it as far as in, you know, we call ourselves gay, but what is the true meaning of pride? What is the true meaning of being gay? Supporting one another, um, encouraging one another, being there for our fellow brother, sister, whoever, to be there. And I feel that it's not there unless you
Hmm.
have a close set of friends that you've been knowing for a long period of time.
Right.
And it's just I just feel that it's not what it used to be, and it's not a community. It's all a fashion show,
Okay.
honestly. And
So,
and
not
who
to
can
cut you
get
off, but just for time's sake, for the next question, what are some pros about this change with the gay community?
like I say, it's more common, it's more acceptable with certain things that people do or have done. Um, you. Um, it's just, I guess it's more acceptable now, and it's more tolerable. I guess in a way. Like you have Little Nas X, he's big for being gay, but also making music, and you have more gay actors, openly gay actors, and so it kind of opened up a lot of doors for a lot of us
Mm-hmm.
to have a platform to stand on their own and to be fully themselves without being talked about, um, tore down or trashed or whatever. I just feel that is more. That's the cons that I see. It's more acceptable.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you said
I think.
cons. So what are some cons that you see in the community?
Um, say that one more time. Maybe your phone was breaking up.
I'm sorry. So what are some cons about this change that you see in the community?
Um, People are still somewhat living in the closet and still not comfortable. Um, it's just that it's really based on about how you look. It's more sexual. Um, it's like don't nobody date anymore. You do have people that still believe in old fashioned,
Yeah.
but it's like it's all about who can get the quickest. Honestly, who can have the hottest, who can have you know whatever.
Well, I
Like
mean, but you have to forgive people too, because I mean, today back then when we were growing up and when gay first was a thing, we didn't have like all this social media access that we have now, where you can just go on an app and hook up with somebody. You actually have to go out and meet people and actually get to know people. So I mean that means I mean, of
that wasn't
course,
a bad thing though. That wasn't a bad
it
thing
wasn't a bad
because
thing. Yeah.
you actually took the time out to get to know someone
Yeah.
and not see them. I mean, you can see them on an app. I mean, Facebook, MySpace,
I
Snapchat,
mean, nobody wants to look at
Instagram. It's
somebody's booty
all
hole and penis before they even know their name. I mean, not everybody.
well. That's the way it is now. That's
Yeah,
the way it is now. And you try to look past that and try to find like, okay, let me meet someone. Oh, I want to date someone. But what are you giving off on your app? What are you?
yeah,
Well, your profile.
yeah,
Are you serving sex? Are you serving, oh, I want to date someone? Are you serving, oh, I'm a husband material, I'm wife material?
hmm,
It's like, what are you serving? But you're asking for certain things that you want in a person or want to attract, but you're getting the total opposite because of the way your picture looks.
yeah. I mean,
Like
it's
I
not
said,
even
it's
just about the
very
picture though. If you think about it, it's just the whole app. The app has been geared now to a lot of people who are on there for
well.
promiscuous
I
reasons.
would
So
disagree.
if you don't know, because I'm
I would
saying
disagree.
if you are on there and you're trying to be like wifey material, husband material, it's hard for you to even show that because even when you're not getting hit up for that issue, you're getting hit up by multiple men trying to have sex with you. So I mean, even though
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I find you and you're like, hey, yeah, I want to be in a relationship with you. Who's to say that you haven't already slept with half of the people on the app?
Well, at the same time, I would say this only because I met my best friend off of that
Mm-hmm.
and people can say, "Oh, this is nothing but a sex app. This is nothing but a hookup app. This ain't nothing but a sneaky link or whatever the hell you want to call it." It's based off what you make it. Like I say, it's
Yeah.
what you put out there is what you'll get back. And I honestly met a couple of my friends off of there. I have met my best friend, who I've been best friends with since 2012, and we met off of that.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, we travel, we go places, we do things. We have done a lot, and I can honestly say that me and him has never had any sexual in, intercourse with anything, no kissing, no none of that.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
it's
I've
like
definitely met good people
it
off of
can
there.
it serves a purpose. It serves a purpose. It can be bad or good. Like I say, it's whatever you put out there is half of the time is what you get back. And there's nothing wrong with linking up with someone if that's what you want to do from time to time. Some
Mm-hmm.
people don't. Some people do.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, though, in my eyes, of the change of the gays and stuff and the cons, the really biggest thing is a lot of people it seems like they're starting to lose the lack of respect for themselves, you know, and in the aspect like, where's your morals at in all of this? You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna just let
You can still
are you
that's
gonna
just like
are you gonna let your
that,
sex life control the things that you have to think about when you get older? Like, I mean, if I'm out here having sex with all these men, how am I going to look when I'm finally trying to settle down, and then I have to walk around in this city, and now I done met 20 niggas that I've had sex with just going to one event, and that's, I mean, I don't understand. I get that it
I
doesn't
mean, think
matter,
about
but
the
I
gay
mean,
world.
yeah, I mean,
First of all, not to cut you out,
yeah, you good.
not to cut you out, but the gay world itself is really small, and mostly everybody know everybody.
Hmm.
And on top of that, um, what's the difference of having sex on camera as far as in having sex off camera?
I mean, in a way, it's a little different because you're broadcasting it and you're not broadcasting it, but
I mean, shit, if you're gonna
I'm
broadcast it, you
just
better
gonna,
make something out of it.
yeah, you're right. So, I mean, end of the day, it's something that
That's
I don't
I
judge
don't
anybody for. It's
I
just something to keep their eyes
yeah.
open to, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's them. At the same time, I know what I'm doing. I can only speak for myself.
Yeah,
But will I have I had multiple partners? Yes, I have. Have I done anything on camera? No, I have not. Would I do anything on camera? Probably not.
yeah.
And
I mean, they
it's
have
like,
OnlyFans now, so
you
that's like a
know,
thing with people now doing stuff on camera. So it's like okay to do stuff on camera now because of OnlyFans. So
I mean, I ask myself the same question. Like, these folks do they got a job? Do they actually work? Because your beauty and everything is not going to be there for the rest of your life.
yeah,
It's not going to be that way. But to each his own.
yeah.
I'm
Okay, so
fine
we can go to
with,
the next question then.
okay.
The next question is: has anything of these changes affected you personally in life or anything around you?
At first it did, but at first it did, and the way I say that is, I used to look at certain things and I was like, oh, I want that. Oh, I want to look like this. Oh, I want to be with this type of person. Oh, I wonder what this person is like. I wonder what that person is like. And then it took me to the time. It took me back to like, hey, you are your own person. You're different than this person. You're different than that person, and you have to ask yourself, do I really know who I am? And at first, I didn't know who I am because I kept on looking at everything on social media, everything what people had, um, the body, the look, the hair, just everything as far as in that aspect. And I had to ask myself, it had to take me back to me. It's like, hey, do you know who you are? And it's like you can easily lose focus um, of losing yourself with social media, with certain apps, because you're too busy concentrating on what everybody else has and not sitting here looking at what you bring to the table, what makes you different.
Hmm. Okay. So, how is your community acting towards this change?
Um, Honestly, I don't see nothing that they do. I mean, I can only speak for me. I know what I do.
Hmm.
Like in the community, what I mean by that is I partic- I participate in AIDS Walk. I participate in, looking at how I can make a impact as far as in just sit up on apps,
Hmm.
just sit and, look at certain things and try to, I guess, compare myself
Yeah.
to what other people have. It's just like growing up, you didn't have a place to go to talk to someone to feel comfortable in the skin that you're in,
Hmm.
and I just feel that they don't have that in the community now because it's based on about if you don't fit in the right group, if you don't, like I say, back to if you don't look a certain way,
Yeah.
and it's like it's depending on your friend group. Everybody wants to go clubbing. Everybody wants to go drinking. Everybody wants to go party.
Yeah.
I mean, being gay to me is more than just partying and having fun.
Yeah.
It's the point of helping other people that didn't have what you had growing up or coming out having a bad life
Hmm.
and being rejected by their family.
Yeah. And then, I mean, in another way,
Because I
if you
went
think
through
about it, is I mean, the drugs really play a big part of this community now because it's got bigger in this community. Not saying that any other community doesn't do
oh
drugs,
yeah,
but I mean, I mean, me on not being in the community, but only seeing people, and I've dated people who were in this community, and dealing with a lot of friends that I have had in and out of this community. I mean, the drugs definitely play a good part of the reason why I feel like a lot of the ideal of everything that was fought for the gays is kind of getting lost because people really not thinking
yeah.
about it no more. Like they're not really thinking about that no more. They're not thinking about what all these people did to get it did marriage legalized and all the stuff like that. They're just more like hell. It's there. Half of the gay community don't even want to get married. So I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, not me, because I know I might ass want to get married.
Yeah.
But, I agree. I totally agree. And drugs never played a part in my life. I mean, I have tried a couple of things, and they were only, one time things.
Hmm.
And yes, drugs do play a part. And I still feel that, you know, they lost sight of what really matters of being gay.
Yeah.
Don't
Exactly.
nobody want to date.
Yeah.
Like if you hit somebody up on the app or meet somebody up in person, go speed dating or however, don't nobody want to date. They just care about what you look like
Yeah.
and
Or
probably how much money you making and see what can you do for them,
yeah.
what benefits them,
Or if
and
you're
not
what a
what
quote
makes
unquote
y'all
top bottom, like how you taking this? You know what I'm saying? You go take it or you giving it? You know what I'm saying? Do you
right.
do
You gotta
both?
sit here. Yeah, you can't even have a conversation without someone saying, okay, well, what's your position
Hmm.
or what you into, and
Yeah.
it's just like, bro, you trying to get to know me, or we going on a date and we doing all of this the first conversation we having,
Yeah. 'Cause I
which
know a lot
I
of
mean,
people
some people
on
don't want that.
I know a lot of people on that app, you know what I'm saying? The reason why I had to get off of it is because, I would just get hit up with people just instantly showing me their ass and instantly showing me their dick. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. Like, I'm not one of these type of people. And then I put it in my profile that I'm not one of these type of people. So obviously people don't care about your profile, what you say on it and stuff like that. They just trying to do what they do. They like, okay, this person look like they might be for some shit or I might like what they look like. So, I mean, I get exactly what you're saying, but we're coming short on
Yeah,
time.
because like I say, it's nothing wrong. Oh yeah,
No, you good. You can say what you have
go
to say.
ahead.
You want to say what you have to say.
Oh no, it's just like I say, the apps they can be used for good or bad. Anything that in the world that we have today can be used for good and bad. It's
Yeah.
just about what you make it. Like I said, I met my best friend off of there. We've been best friends. I have not seen anything sexually. We have not done anything sexually. And a lot of people in the gay world can't say that. They
Hmm.
haven't slept with their best friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, it's all about what you make it and what can you do and what you attract. What you put out there is what you attract.
Yeah. Well, I know. I'm glad that somebody was able to voice their opinion on the gay community this time because I know if I would have had to do this by myself, y'all would have probably been cussing me out and screaming, saying that's not what it is and stuff, And I didn't want that, so I
But
do
I like
appreciate
I
you.
say, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I'm on the app. Oh well. I
Hmm.
mean, but I know what I want though.
Yeah. I mean, the app is really not the
But
biggest
yeah,
thing. I mean, it was just something that it is a big change that happened far as the gay community over the time frame, having that accessibility to talk to the different men all around the world easily like that. Because I mean, first they would have had like BGC or some shit like that, and that really wasn't like. I
uh,
mean, you had to get on the computer for that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So for something you can just
right.
access on your phone and then it tells you how far people is, you can go down the street and just what's the name. Honestly, I feel like the app purpose
I ain't gonna
wasn't
lie.
for
I
what
ain't
it's
gonna lie.
used for, but it also is a distraction too. It's used as a distraction. People use it to get on there and just distract themselves from just being bored. But that's technology itself. So I mean, it's bigger than just this one conversation. But I definitely thank you for coming out and shedding your light and speaking with me. I'm sorry if we had like a little tussle of words on here. I hope everybody heard everything we could say clearly. But I do appreciate it. Is there anything that you want to end off by saying and then give people a way to contact you?
Say that last part one more time.
Is there anything that you want to end off by saying, and then give somebody, give people a resource to contact you?
Um, be happy in your own skin and don't feel like you have to be somebody that you're not or to do other things to follow to be part of a group. Just be yourself. Be yourself because that's what at the end of the day that's what you go to sleep with. You go to sleep you go to sleep and you wake up as yourself and nobody else. And you can also find me on Instagram, DEE underscore JAZZ09 or Facebook at Deontay Johnson or Twitter, Deontay09.
Yeah, see, I think you're the first person who gave out their Twitter on here. You know, I'm new to Twitter. I haven't even been on Twitter for real.
I don't know why I'm on there, but I'm on there. I'm just on there. I never know what I may need to use it for.
Well, yeah, I definitely have the podcast on Twitter as Talk TV, WT United. So you definitely can, hashtag that and it'll pop up on there and I'll definitely see what anybody has to say. But yeah, once again, I thank you for coming out, and gay community, I want you to know that I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for even doing a lot of the things that y'all did, because y'all really was the start of a lot of the issues of what got us to be freedom and have our ways to do a lot of things. So of course there's a lot appreciative. I just want y'all to hold on more a little tight to that and realize that, at the day we're not done fighting, and this is it's not over with. You know what I'm saying? We still got a lot of stuff that we got to work on and try to love each other. You know what I'm saying? We all support each other in every community, but
Yes,
as
they
in a
don't. Their
community.
baby daddy do.
You know what? It's okay though. I mean, but you know what? And then honestly, that's part of your culture. You know what I'm saying? The cattiness, the say this, say that. You know what I'm saying? That's all part of your culture. So at the end of the day, it is there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have straight women reading each other. So, it is what it is. So, but yes, like I said, I thank you for
Okay.
coming out so much.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right. Hello, everybody. We're back on We Are the United, and this is our second episode. We're talking about, is the world ready for change? And I have with me a special guest to take the side of the trans community. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Faye Rose.
Okay.
I am trans.
All right. So we're just gonna get straight into it, because I mean we know the world is ready for if they're ready for change or not. So. The first one, have you seen a change in your community?
Uh, like in the trans community in general.
Yes.
Oh, sure. Yes, I guess. In a way, not too much changed. We're more. I won't say more respected, but more the world now. Like it's publicized a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that has been known, and people, speak up about it now, and you have different avenues of people protecting that culture. So, yeah, it's a lot different from back in the days where, they was like, oh no. So,
Yeah, no. Yeah, we look a lot different.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are some pros about the change?
Um, I'm able to work. That is one thing that is really big for me. I have like a 9 to 5 job. I'm not like a working girl or anything. Which is there's nothing wrong with being a sex worker or anything like that. It's just like that's not something that I would have been able to survive doing.
All right.
I'm very proud of my job.
Okay. All right. And what are some cons?
Um, like currently in the state that I'm in right now, we're fighting to keep our rights. So that's one of the. I don't appreciate that being a thing that can be like a topic that's being held as far as like our mental state. Really big con is the miscommunication or the misunderstanding of our mental state. Light mental conditioning, but it's not like I'm mentally disturbed.
So they're basically trying to say like y'all are like something mentally wrong with you because of the way you think or how y'all perceive yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy. That's just basically like saying,
It's,
hell, anybody's crazy for thinking who they are.
right, which kind of goes back to right before Stonewall. There were shock treatments and things like that, and people were losing their jobs because they thought there was something mentally wrong with us, which we're on our way back to if we let politics do what they want to do.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, that's why I'm here for. We're going to stop this stuff. We're going to put awareness to everything and let people realize what's really going on in these different communities and stuff and the change that is there because it's changing everything around us and it affects everybody. So, moving to the next question. How has the change affected anything in your life or anybody around you?
It taught me that I have a lot more love surrounding me than I thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
This came out as trans. I thought, a lot of people would, leave me as friends or would shun me as family. Um, I actually gave everybody an out. Like when I went and, came out as trans to most of my family members and my friends, I completely understand if they don't agree with my, decisions and living my truth. But nobody left. So that is something that was really big for me. My dad actually is responsible for my actual name. Pharaohs is just like a handle that I go by when I'm streaming or things like that. But my actual name comes from my dad, who I thought was just gonna desert me completely. But when I that's great. If you could just do me the solid of, making my name such and such when I get ready to go and change my name legally. Because he's always wanted a junior, and my mom was not going for that when I was a baby, at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why my first name on Facebook is what it is.
Is that like a tough process when it comes to like changing your name?
I'm actually in the process of researching on how to do that. I grew up in Arkansas, but I'm originally from Michigan, so it's me, or at least that's what I was led to believe that I was gonna have to do a lot of stuff back home. But if I were to go back home to do all of the name change stuff, I wouldn't be able to start for a year to start that process. And because in Michigan, in order to get a name, you have a year. So
So you can't like move a state and get your name changed. You have to go to where you're born.
no, not necessarily. That some things come up here. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't, because my mom originally told me that I would probably have to go back home to do it. Looked into that, and that's not so. It's just a lot. Like I have to go through, from what I've read, to go through the court system first, and a judge has to decide whether or not my reasonings for changing my name for me to be able to do it. And then after I do that, I have to go through a lot of paperwork that I have to send through to, actually get those documents changed. And I'm going as far as getting my birth certificate changed also, just for because of how politics are going. As of right now, like in the state of Arkansas, um, my job is not legally required my name, which they do, and I love them for that. But they're not legally bound to do that. They're actually, if they so choose, they have to use my dead name for that. The name I was born with, because
Okay.
that's what's on my birth certificate.
So y'all call it a dead name? That's kind of cool. I never knew that.
Hmm.
Okay, like a rebirth of a person. You know what I'm saying? I get
Right.
it. I love it. I love it. It makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I'm free spirited, so I'm definitely able to get the idea of it. I just hope everybody else understands. The last question that I do have as far as this, and then we can branch off and just have a conversation. How is the community acting towards the change? Like, how is your community acting towards this change that's going on?
From the girls that I know, it's not that they take seriously, and I don't know a lot of um, trans women in the community, especially of color. But the few that I do know, there's like maybe one girl who has the same like-mindedness as I do,
Mm.
as far as that goes. And yeah.
Okay. All right. So I know it's a big subject when I've been talking to people about the big change with the children being able
Hmm.
to have their ideas and stuff like that. What do you think about that? Because I mean, honestly, I feel like kids should be kids, but I mean, what is your aspect on that?
I agree with what you're saying, like kids should be kids, but at the same degree, I've always known that I've wanted to do this. Being as young as 4 years old, praying to God, because I was brought up Baptist, strong Baptist, and praying to God that, He would, I'd go to sleep and wake up as Tiffany, and like I knew specifically my closet to be filled with dresses, no pants, and I wanted everyone to Darian, that's my dead name, was completely and just not think of that. So me knowing that at that age lets me know, especially with the fact that I went ahead to go ahead and go through with it, I knew of myself what,
Mm.
like in order to like completely understand that aspect of it, you have to be one of those children that feel that way.
Yeah.
Um, because it is a strong feeling, and children do know things, be able to write out Christmas letters to
Yeah.
Santa about what they want.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, kids should, they do know, but I feel like that journey that we take to, develop who we are and get us to the
Mm-hmm.
points that we are now is the part that the children are going to miss
Sure.
now because they're not understanding exactly the toughness and the struggle that it took to get there. You know what I'm saying? This was a fight for us to be able to have these rights and stuff, and I
Sure.
just feel like it shouldn't be really just given to a child mind because all the children don't have that mindset as the ones who had to, secretly hold it in and bring it up and
Mm-hmm.
and fight for what they really believed in and identify with themselves as that was truly what they really wanted. And now it's like, okay, if you truly don't think that way, you can basically now think that way, and then you get older and you be like, oh, okay, well, I only really did that because it was acceptive. You know what I'm saying? Not because it was actually something I truly
Right.
wanted.
In the same retrospect, though, like when you think about stuff like that, like okay, so say for instance, like race is a thing. As of right now, we're in a different place than we were like back when there was a huge struggle for race, for Black people, getting the same rights as white people. Um, we wouldn't know the struggle unless it was like talked about in history.
Hmm.
And so that's where I feel like that's where it should be. Like in that sense, like we just like I don't believe in people under 18 take that is definitely not a thing for me. Um, at all. But I do feel like a child knows who they want to be, um, especially like when they're in high school,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. As long as the knowledge is put there of the struggle that we went through, and there's not a lot of knowledge that goes out in schools in general about not trans community in general,
Yeah,
but the
but just
LGBT
LGBT. Yeah.
plus
Hmm.
community.
Yeah.
That's in the history books. Like I learned about Stonewall well after high school, well after high school. Um, and Paris is Burning is a really good documentation of our history,
Mm-hmm.
but it's literally like the only thing we have versus like things like Pose, which is like not a fact, not like an actual story.
Yeah, it's more like a
On
culture.
right.
Yeah. So I mean, I never seen the Paris Has Fallen. I definitely have to look into that because I never even heard of it. So
Well, Paris is Burning is
oh,
it's a fire little documentary about several different pieces of community in the LGBTQA. It's mostly based in New York because that's where a lot of the riots ended up happening. That's where a lot of the backlash was happening, and people were running to New York because it was like the only place that they could be themselves. But yeah.
oh wow! Well, I thank you so much for coming and sharing all of the information with me. I felt like I got some knowledge from this. You know what I'm saying? And I have an understanding now about the world being ready for the change in your eyes and your perspective in your community. So I thank you for coming on. Is there anything you want to say to your community or anyone?
Um, not really. I mean, outside of go with their first mind. A lot of trans people will think back and they almost all of us say that we wish we would have done it sooner. It's just take the steps to learn who you are, and then love that person early. It'll help in the long run.
Oh, that's great. And that's, I definitely would say you definitely love yourself. And I mean, regardless of whoever accepts you and wants you to be who you are, I would love that everybody is striving to be who they are when they want to be it, how they want to be it, if they want to be it or not. So I love it, you know what I'm saying? Because I know it's different levels to it. So, I love it all, you know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I consider doing all of this and putting all this together. Is there anything you want, any way you want people to reach you if, they have any questions for you?
Sure. I also don't claim to know absolutely everything about my personal community in general. I'm not like some genius out here, but you can reach me for all types of different things. I do alterations on Instagram under Faye Rose. That's PHAE dot Rose. It's quite simple. You can probably find me on anything under that spelling.
Okay, all right. Well, once again, thank you for coming on and sharing your voice with everybody, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right. Hello, everybody. Sorry for the delay for today. You know what I'm saying? We're putting this podcast in, but it was a thing trying to get the plus size and the queer community to latch on to this conversation. I really don't know a lot of the big changes for the queer community. I think really a big thing with them will be, as far as what I know, is the fact that they have just now became, a lot of people still don't know what that is to be queer and stuff like that, and they're coming out and they're standing up. And I know for personal information that it was given to me, that queer is basically just a name that they took back. You know what I'm saying? So technically, a queer identifies anybody who wants to identify themselves as queer, just for that, taking up for the fact, like how the black people did with the N word. You know what I'm saying? Basically, and so I mean that's like a big change. You know what I'm saying? Because we really didn't have, that I really didn't understand, because I never had nobody like call me queer or anything like that. But I know that like that was a thing that was started being used with like the queer eye for the straight guy, and you know what I'm saying, like shit like that. Like I kind of understood that it was something. You know what I'm saying? I just never knew exactly what it was. So I think that's really a big change too. Is now getting that idea of what it is to be queer and having that title and having that community here now, how to respect them and stuff like that. So that, I mean, that's a good change for them. It's really all I can really say upon them. But for my plus size, I had Miss Priscilla was going to come and do it again, but I mean, we had a mishap of time and schedule. So I do appreciate her for trying her hardest to make it for this But I know plus size community has really changed a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because technically plus size now is no longer, obesity or, what I'm saying, overweight. Now it's just, you probably got like a big ass booty or you just got some wide ass hips, you know what I'm saying? You can't just fit regular jeans anymore. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of voluptuous women out here. And as you see to the days now, I mean, back in the days, it used to be like little booties, you know what I'm saying? You had to be fit, you had to do this, you couldn't have all that extra weight now. So, I mean, I think plus size has came up a lot because a lot of people have dealt with that, not being so big, not trying to be so big to the point where now people are getting BBLs to just make their asses look bigger and you know what I'm saying, do things that like is to become of that plus size, and that's crazy, you know what I'm saying? I never thought in a million years that, you know what I'm saying, people would, what's that, even though we have a lot of different body types in the plus size community, because everybody's not right. Just like everybody don't need a BBL. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, like just because they have this, that's like everybody don't need a nose job. You know what I'm saying? So it's different strokes for different folks. I have nothing against anybody. You know what I'm saying? I have nothing against plastic surgery. I feel like do whatever makes you happy and how you want to be happy, and that's just really like the biggest thing, y'all. I'm so excited because I'm trying to like get everything right. I'm thinking about doing video, audio for these one-on-ones, you know what I'm saying, just to make them a little more interesting. Um yeah, I had my experience on my last podcast. It was wonderful, as far as how everything went on my end, you know what I'm saying, participation wise there was a lot of up and downs and stuff like that, but everybody came in, they showed out, they loved the audios, which was the main part, is to have these audios for you guys. And that really just blew me right there, you know what I'm saying? Just the fact that I was able to get it done and had everybody to be able to be a part of that first episode. Sorry I couldn't do it with this episode. Sorry I can't really be a lot more informative of the changes of these communities. Hopefully I can get one of them on the line for this chat that we're going to have today on the video. So what it is, every week when I do host this audio and I present it, I also have a big following on Facebook, so I went to Facebook Live, but eventually it will be everywhere. Twitch, it will be YouTube, which I have a YouTube channel where these videos go on to, which is Talks TV channel, and that's TLK TV channel, Talk without an A, and that's actually the Talks TV channel is around the border. For Facebook, it's Talk TV. We're the United. We the United, because I know a lot of people are probably looking up we're. It's We the United, like we the people. Um, on Twitter, it's also Talks TV. You can look up at Talk TV. You can post, hashtag TLK WT United, and they'll definitely pop up on the page. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of things that's coming up in this time frame. You have to bear with me. This is the second episode, but trust me, it will be getting good and it will be getting spicy. I love this episode because of how much controversy of this topic is. Change is really a big thing. You know what I'm saying? It's really big for people to be able to, express the changes and how they feel about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. It's not just about how the change is affecting everybody, but also how it's benefiting you. And then if it is benefiting you, is it really benefiting everybody? You know what I'm saying? So these are things that people have to have a conversation about just to kind of break the ice. These are our icebreakers. And, I appreciate everybody from coming out. You know what I'm saying? I salute to the straight community because y'all are being very devoted of getting y'all stuff in on time and making sure that y'all have y'all words, y'all voices here. You know what I'm saying? I do appreciate y'all. I appreciate my lesbian community because I have not yet had a lesbian tell me they did not want to do it. So, I mean, that's a good thing. I don't understand what's the issue with just having your voice and just being a voice. I mean, honestly, people are going to be mad with anything anybody says. You know what I'm saying? If I was worried about what people were saying, then I wouldn't make this podcast funny. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be able to make this podcast any type of thing where you can enjoy it and get some type of real aspect of it, because I'm so concerned about what I'm saying or how am I saying it. That's why I made it uncensored and and it's explicit, because people love to be themselves, and I want you to be yourself when you come on here. So anybody who does want to, you can always email me at tlk.tvchannel@gmail.com, and I'll definitely be able to let you know about any upcoming shows that we're having, the topics, and send you some questions and stuff. See if you want to do it. I mean, that's all it is. You know what I'm saying? You get your questions, you answer your questions, and then all the other stuff is fun. You just be yourself. So I thank everybody for listening to me this time. I'm glad that we didn't kind of push this video too much this time. You know what I'm saying? Give people some leeway, but it's also because I didn't have two of the participants to really talk amongst the groups, which eventually will get better, because I mean, like I said, it's just certain topics some people just don't want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? I get that, but I'm always going to be here for them. I'm always going to root for every community. Whoever does not want to say anything, I would definitely go on there and I would make a statement on their behalf. I appreciate everybody, and for the plus size community and the queer community, I want y'all to keep y'all heads up and make sure that y'all know that at the day, even though change is coming, it's changing for the better. You know what I'm saying? It's changing for the awareness of us. I wouldn't say for the better. It's more for the awareness. You know what I'm saying? Because at the same time, this children thing is something that we still have to sit down and think about. But other than that, I want to close out my podcast with saying this one crazy thing. Um, yeah, I'm happy at this part because I just finished my music and I'm so glad to go to the next step of this so it can be out to you guys. So hopefully y'all will definitely be listening to this podcast. I'll be letting y'all know when my music drops. I am doing 4 mixtapes at one time. I know it's crazy, but I've been working on it for 2.5 years and it's finally getting there to the point where I'm about to be able to release it. I'm so happy, you guys. I've been in a good mood, and I cannot wait to see y'all later on at this sip and talk, because I don't know what drink I'm about to make, but I'm about to make a good one. Oh, in this sip and talk, I want to explain this to people. You don't have to have liquor. It doesn't have to have an alcohol. You don't have to be an alcoholic beverage, but you do need to have a drink that's not in the original bottle. Pour it in a glass, call it a name, let's make fun, and let's just sip and drink. All right? Well, thank y'all. We're going to raise our hands. We're going to hold them together, and we are the United. Thank you. Good night.